The other day, I was watching a video about the hiring process for programmers. They talked about problem solving in programming interviews, particularly focusing on the classic Fizz Buzz challenge. I wanted to solve it in a way where I bent rules just a little bit. Also, I wanted you to show how Cobie AI can take code and make a lecture out of it. I gave her my code and she did everything else. More on Cobie AI later. Many of you may already be familiar with the standard approach to solving Fizz-Buzz challenge, but let's explain what the Fizz-Buzz challenge is. Typically, the task involves printing numbers from 1 to 100, but it's not that simple. For multiples of 1, you print Fizz instead of the number, and for multiples of 5, you print Buzz. For numbers which are multiples of 3, and 5, you print Fizz Buzz. Now, let's put a twist on it. Instead of solving Fizz Buzz in a conventional manner, we are going to tackle it in an unconventional way. Here's the twist. We will solve the Fizz Buzz challenge by creating an array of pre-filled numbers for multiples of 3, 5, and just to have fun, multiples of 15. I guess this is not the best way to solve it, but it works. Still wait for the twist at the end that makes this solution pop out. To begin, we create an array with all the elements divisible with 3, 5, and 15. Now let's write the code with Cobie AI. Cobie, the floor is
Hi. Thanks for the introduction. You just like to play around with code and make my life harder, don't you? Don't worry, let me explain the code. Create a list to store multiples of 3. Create a list to store multiples of 5. Create a list to store multiples of 15. Don't worry, if I'm too fast, just pause the video. Let's add the function definition. Inside the function, we need to create a loop from 1 to 100 and check each number for the fizz, buzz, and fizz buzz conditions. We will add the conditional statements inside the for loop, after initializing the res variable. We will add conditional statements to check if the current number is a multiple of 3 and 5. First, we create a condition to check if number is multiple of 3. Next, we check for multiples of 5. We do not need to check for 15 as this will already be included in the result. Now, let's add the fizz buzz logic. We should check if the number is divisible by 3 and add fizz to the res variable. Then, we check if the number is divisible by 5 and add buzz to the res variable. If the number is not divisible by 3 or 5, we assign the string representation of the number to the res variable. Finally, we print the res variable to see the fizz buzz output. For the end, we need to call the fizz_buzz function outside of its definition to execute the code and see the output. Now the code works. For those who want to try it out, pause the video here and make your Python code. But for others, let's hear about this twist of yours.
yes, the twist. I guess you can solve it with arrays, where you write them by hand, but wouldn't be great if you didn't even have to write arrays at all. This way you show that you are solving Fizz Buzz this way only because it's limited to 100. To show knowledge, I have created functions that made these arrays for me. This way, you are solving the problem in a simple but a fun way. It's important to show that you understand the logic behind it, and that you know how you would solve it for numbers greater than 100. Once again, I will let Cobie AI explain it for you. Go ahead, Cobie.
Thanks. Let's see what the twist is all about. In the starting code, we are going to create a function called multiples that takes a number as input and prints out multiples of that number up to 100. Inside the function, we will create a variable called multiples_of and initialize it with an empty string. Next, we will use a for loop to iterate over a range of numbers from 0 to 100 in increments of the input number. Within the for loop, we will update the multiples_of variable by adding each multiple of the input number as a string followed by a comma and a space. Finally, we will print a message that shows the input number in the list of its multiples as generated in the multiples_of variable. To print out multiples of 3 and 5, we call the multiples function twice, once with the argument 3 and then with the argument 5. First for multiples of 3. And next, for multiples of 5. At the end, you can call multiples for 15 as well just to make it more fun. That is it. Now you have a new way to solve Fizz Buzz challenge. Back to you.
Thanks, Cobie. Thank you all for taking the time to watch us. I would like to introduce you to Cobie AI, a cutting edge smart classroom designed for educators of all kinds. With real time visibility into what your students are working on, you can provide personalized feedback and create a smoother learning experience. Cobie AI offers lectures and custom feedback tailored to each student, making it an ideal tool for teaching coding, math, languages, and more. Whether you choose to use our pre-prepared content or create your own, Cobie AI is the perfect virtual assistant to help you along the way. If you're interested in learning more, apply for demo today. The link is in description. Thank you for your time and consideration, and please don't forget to like and subscribe.